has issued a disaster declaration related to the public health concerns caused by the statewide COVID-19 pandemic. As acting chair of the Zoning Board of Appeals, I've determined that an in-person meeting is not practical or prudent because of the risk of exposure to the COVID-19 virus stemming from an indoor gathering, and that a remote meeting is in the best interests of health, safety, and welfare of the board, the staff, and the general public. So with that said, we will go ahead and get started here. And if we could have roll call, or are we expensing with this because we can see everybody here?
No, I think we still have to do it.
Okay.
I think so.
If you would call roll.
I will call the roll. Mr. Anderson.
Here.
Mr. Schaab.
Here.
Mr. Blakeney.
Here.
Ms. Brand.
Here.
Mr. Penn.
Here.
Mr. Palmgren.
Here.
Mr. Sampson.
Here.
Super. And I'm going to try to share my screen really quick so that everyone can see the agenda, but I'm not sure if I can figure that out. Hold on.
While you're doing that, I will just mention that we do have enough here for a quorum. And also I just want to, because I don't imagine you're going to pull up the minutes from last meeting, so I'll proceed with that. Has everybody had a chance to take a look at meetings from our last meeting, which would have been September 17th? I was not present at that meeting, but hopefully everybody's had a chance to take a look at that. And if there's any corrections, additions, that sort of thing, if you want to go ahead and express those now. If not, I would accept a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve. This is Keith.
Thank you.
I'll second. This is Randy.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Same sign. All right, minutes are approved. Okay, so the first item that we have on our docket here is item number 20-10-13-V. It's a variance for accessory structure setback and parking lot pad, and that's located at 100 Robert.
You know, Todd, this is Jason Corsagrosa. If I could interject real quick, we do need to take a roll call vote on all votes done during Zoom meetings. So if we could rewind and do a roll call, Mercy, for the minutes approval.
Oh, my apologies.
I can do that.
Yes.
I thought that one might just slip by you, Jason. I will call the roll for the minutes. Okay. Mr. Sampson.
Yes.
Mr. Palmgren.
Yes.
Mr. Penn.
Yes.
Ms. Brand.
Yes.
Mr. Blakeney.
Abstain. I was not present.
Okay. Mr. Schaab
Yes.
and Mr. Anderson.
I will also abstain, as I also was not at the meeting.
Okay.
Okay, minutes now being approved. We will go ahead and proceed with the first item. Again, it is item number 20-10-13-V. It's a variance for accessory structure setback and parking pad located at 100 Robert. So Ms. Davidson, if you'd like to give us a little bit of backstory there, an update on that, if you would please.
Sure. So the house at 100 Robert, you can see a picture here on your screen, I hope. It's a one-story home with an attached two-car garage. Over this past summer, the owners installed an above-ground pool. The pool installers did not check with the town, and the homeowners did not know that there was a restriction on where such a thing could go. So the pool ended up being installed in a place that is actually within the required setback for this type of accessory structure. And Greg can jump in and correct me if I'm wrong. Basically, this is a corner side yard, and the house itself needs to sit 30 feet off the property line. So the pool should also be 30 feet off. And it's more like 20 feet from the property line. There's another reason for the pool being there, though. There was a large tree stump right kind of in the middle of the yard where the pool could have maybe gone, and some underground electricity. when they Julied the property. So those two things pushed the pool to the north as well. So it is technical, and you can kind of see it in the picture. It sticks out a little bit to the left of the house towards College. If you've driven by, you'd see that there's a chain link fence that mentioned in the report the owners plan to replace with just a newer, like powder coated aluminum fence. They plan to leave the shrubs in. They'll just have to trim them up a little bit, but it does provide quite a screen from College. And I think some of the pictures show that. You can just see there's just a lot of shrubbery along there. So that's the pool situation. And you can see here's the aerial just showing the house, and the pool is basically up in here. So that's a variance for the setback of that pool. The second thing they're asking is they would like to have an extra parking space next to their driveway, which we've gotten a lot of these lately. But because it's a corner side yard, it's not supposed to go there. So they're asking for a variance from that requirement. It would just be along the side of the garage, kind of like you see them anywhere else. So does that sound about right, Greg? I miss
Yeah,
anything?
no, that's accurate. And again, I will make a comment that given when the town made the announcement to close the public pools down this spring and summer, there was a bit of a feeding frenzy amongst the population in Bloomington Normal to run to Menards or, any local pool dealership. And so I think contractors and homeowners were quite excited, and I don't think this wasn't done with malice. I think this is just a situation where honest mistake. And so again, as Mercy mentioned, it sticks out a few feet past the house, not substantially. And then also there's a fair amount of landscaping and screening in place. So, and then also there was a patio there's actually a patio or a pavement that sits next to the existing house now. And the desire is, of course, to extend the driveway to be able to connect to it and actually use that for a parking space. I believe Troy, our building inspector, maybe had the conversation with them midstream, and that's why you don't have the pad pour at this point. But as Mercy mentioned, we have gotten a bit of a run on these as well.
So the only other thing I'll add to that, just to follow up, is that so staff is recommending in favor of the accessory structure variance. It's on the side of the house that's closest to a busy street. It's got a lot of shrubbery screening it. It's very tastefully done, so we don't have an issue with that. Adding the extra space, that's a little bit more of just a straight code issue. And I will say that we got 2 responses from neighbors. One neighbor wrote an email just emphatically in support of this, of everything about it. They said that these are great neighbors. They do a great job with their property. They've been here a long time, and they just think what they've done is great. Another neighbor was just concerned with a pickup, like trucks that were parked in the street in front of this house a lot, but that was really based on construction over the summer, construction of the pool and the pavement area. So those trucks aren't there anymore, but the pickup truck that the owners own, and they can speak to this, they would actually be using this extra parking space to put their pickup truck on their driveway instead of in the street. So that's all we've heard from folks. So that's what we have.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, are the owners here to speak to this? Would they like to add any comments with regards to what's already been said?
No,
Yeah, they
I
are here.
mean,
If you'll, yep.
Swear them in, Mr.
Mercy, she,
I'm sorry. I wasn't sure for sure if you're the folks or not, and if you would just do me a favor and state your name and your address for me, if you would, please.
Rick Jenkins, 100 Robert Drive.
Okay. And then if you just raise your right hand and just affirm that what you're about to tell us is the truth.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, please, you may proceed.
Yeah, I mean, Mercy went over just exactly everything in detail. What we started, and she was pretty thorough, and everything she said was what I was going to say. So I don't really have anything to add.
Okay. Any of the board have any questions for Mr. Jenkins?
Mr. Jenkins, this is Darren Sampson. Are you working with the town and normal staff on the building site inspection for fencing requirements and other things pertaining to securing that pool from access from the general public outside the fence? Normally,
We discussed the taking the fence down that we have and then adding another fence, a little more secure. But that's, with the COVID, we're having trouble with laborers, in the materials to get out there. But it's in the process right now, and the plan is to replace that fence.
yeah, I was, and this may be more of a question for staff, but are you working with them on the electrical and the site inspection stuff that would have come with a building permit application for a swimming pool, even though that wasn't utilized as a pathway?
Yes, we've already discussed all that, and we're working with them. I can't think of what was his name.
Yeah, Troy.
Troy. Yeah.
I'll fill in the blank there, Mr. Sampson, too, and that's a good question. Yeah, we wouldn't be in a position and we wouldn't write a permit until the zoning board actually considered this. And so, but we've had the discussion with the homeowners. And so depending what the outcome of the zoning board's decision is tonight, then if they're agreeable and this moves forward, then we'll go ahead and consummate the permit process and take care of all that. And so.
Thanks, that's all I had.
Yep.
I have a question for Mr. Jenkins.
Mm-hmm.
What are your intentions with the parking pad? So you do have a truck that you're looking to park there, or you've had a truck on the street, or?
Yes, there we have 3 vehicles. We park both vehicles in the driveway, and the truck, it just parks out in front of the house. But we would like to be able to park the truck on the side of the house to get it off the street, for various reasons. I mean, for this winter, for snow removal, and just curb appeal. I think it looks better if the truck is off the street. So it's just a regular F-150 pickup truck. It's not a commercial sized truck or anything like that. It's just a regular truck.
Are you using your garage currently, or because you just said
Yes.
you're parking?
Yes, we are using the garage. We had a lot of things from the basement we brought up in the garage, so we had it pretty full. But right now, we have liquidated a lot of stuff that's in there. So we're planning on using the garage in the wintertime and parking our vehicles in the garage.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have any further questions for Mr. Jenkins?
It's Corinne Brand. Mr. Jenkins, the parking pad, and maybe this is for staff, I mean, will it go in that area that's under the big tree, or will it set further back?
It's going to be, it's not going to come straight out towards Robert Drive. It's going to start where the edge of it is on the corner and then kind of veer in towards the driveway. So when we pull in, we'll be able to just, swing over, and so it's not going to go all the way to the sidewalk.
Okay, great, thank you.
I'm sorry, I'm a little confused. So it's going to go how deep in relation to the garage on the side wall?
Okay,
it's in their application. There's a site plan, I believe.
Okay, I just didn't see that photo. I'm sorry.
Oh, we haven't gotten to it yet.
Okay.
And I have to scroll down to it. Hold on.
So it appears to run the
I don't know
same
if
band. Is this not accurate?
this doesn't really show it.
I believe I had actually prepared the sketch.
Well, let me see. Let me keep scrolling. Hold on. It's taking it a second.
This
Not
Gary
sure if I saw
Blakeney.
it.
This is Gary Blakeney. And aren't there plans to park on the pad on the north side of the garage and wanting to have a curved concrete approach to get to that area on the north side of the garage for parking?
Yes. Yeah, that would be, all there would be like an approach, just like you said.
Okay.
It'd be an approach to get to that. And it's going to be just temporary parking. So it's not going to be used to be for permanent parking. It's just for, to park the truck, or if we have guests come over, it's just basically another parking spot to, park a vehicle. So it would be a curve. So it's going to be not straight, from there straight to the sidewalk. It's going to start at the edge of the patio, so say, and then curve back over towards the driveway.
Right.
So that area that you can see where it's all dirt right there now, that was just from the trucks driving back and forth. So that's going to be grass, but about halfway down from the driveway, that's where it'll start, and then it'll just kind of curve over to the edge of the patio. So, yeah.
Okay.
Which I think is pretty common. I mean, that seems like a pretty common strategy, because so he's not going to make the curb cut bigger, the driveway apron bigger. It's all happening in the side yard.
Yeah, so that all that where that dirt is, that's going to be all landscaped. Like I said, from the trucks driving back and forth, it looks like a lot of dirt right there now. But there's going to be grass there and stuff like that. So even though it's not like that whole area is going to be concrete, it's going to be where it's, you pull in the driveway like it is right now, go up about halfway, then veer over to the.
Well, and that evergreen that's there, that tall evergreen tree, pretty
Oh,
much covers half of the patio.
If I could stop you just a moment here. I would also, if you're going to add to this, I just need to swear you in as well.
Oh,
My
I'm sorry.
apologies. So again, if you state your name and your address, please.
Linda Feasley, 100 Robert Drive.
Thank you. And then also, if you'd raise your right hand and just affirm that what you're about to tell us is true.
Yes.
Thank you. Please. I'm sorry.
I was just mentioning that tall evergreen pretty much covers half of that patio. So you wouldn't see hardly anything that's going to be parked there anyway.
Thank you.
All right. This is Gary Blakeney. Mr. Chairman, I've got a question. Are we going to treat these as two separate variations or as one?
I think it's appropriate to treat them as two separate.
Okay.
Okay. Do we have any other questions for the owners?
I have none.
I have none.
Mr. Jenkins, anything else that you'd like to add for the good of the group?
Not at this time. I don't have anything else. I think we pretty much went over everything. There's another added thing was the front door right there. As you can see, we're going to make a little approach to that. But it's going to be like just a 6 foot by 6 foot little deck with steps to go into the house. I just wanted to add that to it, but
something that I'm sure automatically meets code, all of that. So, okay. All right. All right. Seeing that there's no further questions for you folks, so we'll go ahead and close the public portion of this. And are there any questions, any additional questions for staff?
Mr. Chairman, do we know if there's anybody else who wishes to speak to this case?
Oh, thank you. I apologize. Are there others that would like to speak?
There are not. Nobody signed up to attend tonight. Just the two folks who called in advance.
Thank you.
Mercy, I did forward you an email. I don't know if you want to deal with that right now, but I forwarded you the site plan that was sent to the clerk. If you can share that.
I can do that. Hold on one second. Okay, now I can figure this out. Let's all work together here. Okay, so can you see Greg's nifty drawing there?
Yes.
The proposed parking
Okay,
pad
yeah.
in corner yard?
It's not exact, but again, there's a pad that exists beside the north side of the existing garage, but that generally gives you the idea of, you know, they're going to basically just clear the corner of the garage and then angle back toward the existing driveway to give you a sense of how much of it's going to
Right.
be.
Okay.
And then like this is the evergreen tree that screens a lot of it.
That's very helpful.
Okay, any other questions for staff?
No, I have none.
Well, if this is for staff, maybe one quick question. I'm kind of confused about the code. Is this just due to being a corner lot is why there cannot be a pad on the side?
Go ahead, Mercy.
I was just gonna say yes, but do you have more to say about that, Greg?
Well, yes, but also, Mr. Penn, even if this is an interior lot, this is kind of the dilemma we faced last month, is that where you have a 2-car driveway and garage, you're not, by code, you're not entitled to have this third pad unless you're able to take it past the face of the building, which is what's occurring here. But what complicates this one is the fact that it's on a corner. And so in the street face, it needs relief from the zoning board.
So you got two different things going on there. Yeah. Okay. No other questions.
There's no other questions or further comments with regards to this. Let's entertain a motion with regards to the pool and the structure there for the variation request there.
This is Keith, and I would make a motion that we approve the variance for the pool as requested by the applicant.
This is Corinne. I second the motion.
If you would call for a vote, please.
Sure. Mr. Blakeney,
Yes.
Mr. Penn,
Yes.
Mr. Sampson,
Sorry, yes.
Mr. Palmgren,
Yes.
Ms. Brand,
Yes.
Mr. Schaab,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes. So again, the pool, what's taking place there is approved, and we're certainly able to continue on with that aspect of this request. The second item again is as we've been discussing the side yard parking area, and I would entertain a motion with regard to that as well, unless there's any further discussion.
I'll make a motion to the affirmative and to approve that variance as requested.
And this is Randy. I'll second that.
Okay, if you would call for a vote, please.
Sure. Mr. Schaab,
Yes.
Ms. Brand,
Yes.
Mr. Palmgren,
Yes.
Mr. Sampson.
Yes.
Mr. Penn,
I'm a no.
Mr. Blakeney,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Okay.
Both variations are approved, and please continue to work with the town, the staff, and enjoy the project.
Thank you very much.
Sure. And you are welcome to leave the meeting unless you just like to watch the rest of it.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
All right, the second item we have here on our agenda here is item number 20-10-14-V. It's a variance for a building setback and parking spaces at 8 Reynolds Court. And again, Ms. Davidson, if you have if you want to kind of give us the backstory on that, we'll go ahead and discuss that following.
Sure. And we have the applicant on the line here. So this is 8 Reynolds Court, and as you can see, it's an exceptionally unusually shaped lot. It's very large, especially for being in town. It's pretty big. There's an existing house with an attached 1-car garage. And then there's a detached 2-car garage about 100 feet away from the front door with its own little driveway. The owners would like to have an attached 2-car garage, and they don't really have many options. They can't really expand the 1-car into a 2-car because of the grade of the property. They would have to bring in a ton of fill. It could be done, but a ton of fill would have to come in, and then it could affect the drainage because of the way the property falls off. So that's really not an option that anyone recommends. So that left them, and they can't put it on the north side for obvious reasons. So that leaves them with this option back here. They could attach the 2-car garage back here, convert this 1-car garage to just indoor living space, get rid of this existing driveway to the 1-car garage, and then just, add a little extension off the existing driveway to get to the new 2-car garage. So doing all that requires a couple of variances. The first is the rear yard setback. Based on the zoning here, this house should be 40 feet from the back property line. It is not now 40 feet off the property line. You can see that it's actually pretty, it's about 22 feet off the property line. And then this existing deck off the back of it is about 13 feet off. If they put on this 2-car addition in this location, it would leave 8 feet. So that's the variance for the setback. The other thing that happens is that because there's just so much driveway now, if they did this, they would need a variance for the number of parking spaces that they're requesting, because now you'd have 2 spaces in this garage, 2 spaces in this garage. You're only entitled to 4, but there's also space on the driveway technically for another couple over here and a couple over there. So suddenly you're at 8 spaces. It's more a function of just how the site is. So that's 2 variances. Staff gave this a lot of thought, and given the size of the property and where it's located at the end of a cul-de-sac and all the landscaping, we don't think this project would disrupt the harmony of the neighborhood. We haven't heard from anybody. So we don't think that's an issue. It is a bit of a trick to have a house without a 2-car attached garage when the detached garage is that far away. So we thought that was a bit of a burden. And then of course the property is pretty unique in the size, shape, the topography, etc. So we're supportive, but the owners are here and can answer questions or speak more to this if you'd like to talk to them about it. They also included some renderings of what it would look like. Surely will be attractive. So that's what we have.
Okay, thank you. So understanding that the owners are here, are present, if they would they like to share? I'm just asking if you'd like to share any, and if you would, please just let me know and we'll go ahead and get you sworn in.
Happy to answer questions. I don't think I need to add anything else.
Thank you. If you would go ahead and please state your name and your address.
Craig Collin, Sport.
And just raise your right hand. I can't see you on screen, so I'm going to trust that you're raising your right hand and affirming that you are going to tell us the truth.
I do.
Thank you.
Mary.
Thank you. All right. Anything?
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
Whoa, we suddenly have crazy echo. I think it's Cullen. So maybe it'll be better now that you have earpieces in. Okay.
Okay, please.
First, I think you want a site plan would show the actual building. Wow, that's terrible.
It does sound terrible. But I'll show you the site. This is the current, well, no, this is where they would add the 2-car garage back here. So you can see it. You can see it pretty well right here. That's what they want to do. Take away the driveway, add this driveway, new garage.
I certainly want to give the owners a chance to speak if they have items that they would like to share. I don't know if chatting is an option, or if we can get it to a point where the speakers are working appropriately so that we can hear them.
Any better now? Okay. Yeah. That does not sound better, huh? Just a sec. Let me see if.
It's sounding good at this moment.
Yeah. Okay. So the other piece that I think I just kind of wanted to add is part of what we're trying to accomplish here is to be able to sort of redirect the house to face the south. Our current backyard is about, like Mercy said, it's about 20 feet, and we've got a bunch of windows that face out that way, but we don't really have any yard there. So that's another piece that we're trying to accomplish, is just try to get this to face south, where we have all of that yard, and we've got a lot of view to the south and to the west. And one other piece that it helps us accomplish is currently it's an older house. Currently we've got about a 3-foot by 3-foot entry from the garage entrance. So you come in, you've got a door coming in from the garage, you've got the stairwell to your right, you've got the stairs going up to the kitchen, the bathrooms. So it's like 4 sort of doors there, and you've got a 3-foot by 3-foot landing. And it's definitely a challenge. So this addition also would move the stairs and give us a proper sort of mudroom entrance and a place to hang up coats and not fall down the stairs trying to get in and out of the house. Yeah.
Thank you.
This is Gary Blakeney. Are we to the point of asking the owners questions? Are they available?
I believe so. If we don't have any other items that they wanted to add ahead of time.
Okay.
Yes, please.
I do have. First of all, I think it'd be a very, very nice looking addition. It's been done well. It's going to blend in with the house and that. I am really bothered though by the number of available parking places. Plus, really there could be more than 8 parked on all of that driveway and concrete area. And I have a question for the owners, is would you give any thought on not having, removing the concrete in front of the existing driveway so that it cannot be used as a parking area and garage?
And so just for clarification, in front of the current detached garage?
Yes, in front of the current detached.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the access to the garage. So that would make that garage sort of unusable for vehicles, I think, if we took that concrete out.
Okay, so you
that was not part of the current plan.
Okay, all right.
But from the drawing, it appears that the driveway for the single car original driveway would be removed.
Correct. That's the goal, is to sort of get, right now we've got a very long single curb break there for each of those two entrances. And that was part of when we talked with the architect. He said, you know, this would help clean this up. We can just have a single curb break and remove the other concrete in front of the house. You just got that one driveway that goes back into the back, into the backyard there. It's not very visible from the street.
Thank you.
Mr. Blakeney, just a question for Mr. Cullen, I think, that might, whether you agree with it or not, but the garage, that detached garage, the entry is from the west,
Yes.
not from the north. So because that was one thought we had too, is, if the doors could be relocated and be served from that center piece of driveway that will sort of be attached and the detached, but the way it's set up right now is that, you enter that detached garage from the west face.
Okay. Because that concrete would not be changed. I don't believe, it doesn't seem like it would be, for the existing concrete drive for the existing two-car detached garage.
Right.
Okay. I have nothing else. No.
And just one of the other pieces of it is we're sort of stuck right now in that we can't get bids because we don't have the variance. So we don't really have a sense of what we can afford. We know what we can afford. We just don't have quite a good sense of what this is going to cost. We have, when we go talk to, I don't know if you've ever worked with an architect, but they really enjoy drawing. So he had modifications to the driveway to sort of move it onto the side of the tree and put landscaping in it and all of that. We're certainly open to those things, but those aren't, we don't know if those are in the budget just yet. So we're trying to sort of say, what's the simplest version, and saving some of that money on concrete right now is, we assume we'll need it for what the addition would be.
Okay. I have no further questions.
Thank you. Any other board members have any questions for Mr. Cullen?
No.
No.
And Mr. Cullen, did you have anything else you'd want to add before we close the public portion?
Nope, thank you.
Are there any other folks present that would like to speak regarding this variation request?
We didn't have anyone contact us at all about this.
I wasn't sure if there's anybody else present on the Zoom meeting. Okay, thank you. We will go ahead and close the public portion of this. We'll open up some discussion, any questions for the staff, and then any comments that anyone would like to make.
Well, I have a comment. Of course, an 8-foot rear yard setback is very, very close, but the lots to the east appear to be very, very deep. So I don't think that there would be any interference with them.
Right. They are very deep, and also the houses, the structures there are also set further back to the east as well. They're not pushing right up against that lot line by any means as well. This is an unusual lot, and it is rather tucked away. It does show some interesting possibilities here in design, and it sounds like they've been doing some homework here to look at what kind of options they do have. So, any other questions or comments? Okay, we are going to have we're going to split this up again also with two different requests here, variations. So if you'd like to take on the look on the first page here, and again, we'll talk about the rear yard setback of 40 feet and looking at this as a proposed garage addition that's going to leave the 8 feet. So we'll start with that one first. So if we could get a motion for that.
It's Corinne. I move that we approve the variance as requested.
I'll second that. This is Gary Blakeney.
If we could call for a vote, please.
Sure. Mr. Penn,
Yes.
Mr. Palmgren,
Yes.
Mr. Sampson,
Yes.
Ms. Brand,
Yes.
Mr. Blakeney,
Yes.
Mr. Schaub,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes. So that variation request is approved. The second will be for, again, the off-street parking that we talked about. And currently, the restrictions are for 4 street parking spaces or 4 off-street parking spaces. And here we're looking for approximately 8 parking spaces, 2 spaces in each of the 2-car garages and 2 spaces potentially on the drives as well. On each driveway, I should say.
This is Gary Blakeney, and I'll make a motion that we accept the variation as requested in regard to the additional parking places.
This is Tony. I'll second.
Okay, if we can get a vote for this.
Sure.
request.
Mr. Schaub,
Yes.
Mr. Blakeney,
Yes.
Ms. Brand,
Yes.
Mr. Penn,
Yes.
Mr. Palmgren,
Yes.
Mr. Sampson,
Yes.
and Mr. Anderson.
Yes. Now, I think it should be stated as well that because of, the understanding that, Mr. Collin, you are working with an architect now, but haven't probably procured a contractor just yet, and pouring concrete and things of that nature is probably not going to happen this year, I would imagine, given the weather change, et cetera. And so you're probably looking at something in late spring, et cetera. So this variation request really lasts for, well, quite a while, actually. So I just want to make sure you understand this isn't limited to 1 year or anything along those lines.
Yeah, I think so, Greg, like as long as people are making progress, the year, there is a year limit, but if you're making progress, it kind of pushes it out. So it's a good point.
Thank you. All right, so the third item we have here on the agenda is item number 20-10-15-V. It's a variance for a sign height located at 1001 Greenbrier, also known as Furniture Row. So Ms. Davison is pulling up some of the information on that, and certainly if you've got any items you want to mention for this request as well, we'll go ahead and hear that, please, and then continue on with our discussion.
Yeah, this is pretty straightforward. So Furniture Row has a sign right now down here at the southwest corner. It's a blade sign. It says Furniture Row, and there's the kind of chair sculpture next to it. It meets code right now, and code in this area would be a 30-foot tall sign, no larger than 300 square feet in size. Veterans Parkway in this location is about 28 feet higher than the building, and so so their sign is not terribly visible. So they're asking for a 45-foot tall sign, more of a pole sign, so the bulk of the sign will be at the top. The size of the sign wouldn't even be close to the 300 square foot maximum. So the only variance they're looking for is the height. Staff does find this to be a unique circumstance based on the height of Veterans Parkway. And so we are recommending in favor of it. But you can see just the difference in the height in the pictures that they submitted. And right now you can kind of see their sign over here, but not particularly well. So that's what they want to do. And we believe it's a reasonable request and that it meets the standards. And there are two people here from Furniture Row if you want to ask them any questions.
Thank you. I was going to ask if there's anybody present. All right. So the folks that are here from Furniture Row, if one of you would like to speak or both of you would like to speak, I just need to get you sworn in here before we can start. And if there's any items that you'd like or any comments you'd like to make with regards to this request as well. So if one of you would like to speak, and just go ahead and let us know what your name is and what your address is.
Tony Ahmed. Can you hear me all right? I'm just making sure.
Yes.
Okay, Tony Ahmed, 3415 North 44th Street, Lincoln, Nebraska, 68523.
Thank you. And if you just raise your right hand and affirm that what you're about to tell us is the truth.
I do.
Thank you. Please proceed if you have any other comments you'd like to share.
All right, I do. My name is Tony Ahmed, representing Furniture Row in their request to increase the height of their freestanding sign from 30 feet to 45 feet. This is an increase of 15 feet. Furniture Row has a large investment in their property here in Normal and would like to maximize the exposure of their sign and building, and feel this would also help people to know exactly where we're located. Our building is addressed off of Greenbrier Drive, but Greenbrier Drive does not have a large traffic flow, and our best exposure is to the traffic on Veterans Parkway. We feel that the hill and being that Veterans Parkway is elevated is our hardship. Please see the enclosed photos of our existing sign. The existing sign is 30 feet in height, and as you see, you cannot read the full Furniture Row name. Especially, there you go, in this, it's more on the, if to see it, it would be more on the screenshots and not the one of the drawing. But like I say, we don't, the people, there you go. It's down by the, there you go, that's it. We feel that the additional 15 feet is not excessive and would get us what we need for visibility. We appreciate your consideration and we're asking for your approval with this request. If you have any questions, I'm open to any questions.
Thank you. Do you have any questions?
It's Corinne. Does the sign say Furniture Row on both sides?
Yes, it does. It's identical on both sides. I'm sorry.
Okay. Is the bottom part like an electronic billboard so that it would have a changing message?
It does, and we understand that it's with the city of Normal has static images only, no animation, no motion. We would comply with whatever amount of time between images that's required by the city of Normal.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have any additional questions? Okay, and it sounded like there was maybe a second person available. Is that accurate? Would they like to add anything to this as well?
No, this is Larry 4. I've been listening to it. I really don't have anything else to add to it. I work for Furniture Row in the corporate construction. I do all the construction. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, if you are gonna, it sounds like you're gonna add a little bit, and that's fine. You're certainly welcome to do so. I just need you again, you would state your name and your address, please.
My name is Larry 4. My address is 15501 East 112th Avenue, Commerce City, Colorado, 822.
And while you got your right hand raised there, if you just affirm what you're about to tell us is the truth.
Yes, it is.
Thank you, please.
Yeah, it's just, you know, exposure is the name of the game, obviously, and signage and getting people to get to the next exit, get back, and so on and so forth. I work with Menards across the street there and wasn't successful in getting, you know, them to help out and some of that. They're not opposed to it by any means, but there's a developer that has the land that's in front of ours, building this stuff. So we feel that it's very important to, get it above the highway and be able to pique the interest of people that are looking to buy furniture.
Thank you. Do you have any additional questions for the representatives of Furniture Row?
This is Gary, and I have none.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and close that public portion then and make comments, discuss it. Any questions for staff at all? I just have the one is, have we had any comments with regards, any public comments with regards to this variation request?
We have not.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments or questions for staff?
This is Tony. On the digital part, I don't know, on the brightness of that and where the height is with traffic, is that going to be a deterrent from, or a visual issue when we're driving on Veterans Parkway, and how bright that's going to be right at eye level?
That's a really good question. I think that the static requirements at least cut down on some of the problem you have with flashing and that kind of thing, but brightness can be a problem. Correct me if I'm wrong, Greg, but our code does not get into actual, like, your light level has to be this or that. So what happens is we just end up contacting people if it is unreasonably bright, and people just turn it down. But there's nothing in our code that says, like, here is the level. But we've got Larry and Tony here. They can just be advised that they need to set the light level so that it gets darker at night. Because that part of the problem is people don't change the setting, and it's really bright during the day, and then it stays super bright at night, and it becomes a problem. But so it's more of a complaint basis because our code doesn't prohibit digital signs. I mean, they're just signs. So
I will say that and again, 15 years ago, digital signs were new to the community anyway, in any kind of number. But that is one thing that we do take into account. It's kind of on a case by case basis. And so, but it's a good point. Generally speaking, they do have the ability for the lighting intensity to go down as dusk settles in and it gets dark at night. And so, especially because we hear the complaints, or have heard complaints over the years about, like, when you're driving on a rainy night in particular, it gets pretty tough. And so Mercy touched on it, that the limitation on animation and graphics, it's not to say that you can't have any, but it's pretty limited. And then it basically requires the sign to come set for 4 seconds. And so in combination with that, and then also just the idea that the sign needs to be adjusted. And we've had some adjusted around town after they've gone up, and owners are generally cooperative. And again, it's something we'll keep an eye on for sure.
Could I get confirmation from back from Tony that they have the capability of turning that down?
Yes, this is a high quality board that we've put up at a number of locations, and it does self adjust, but we are also able to go in and adjust it if it does become an issue where we're hearing from the city, or you're getting calls about it, that we could adjust it beyond its automatic settings.
Okay, thank you.
And we would comply.
Good question, and it is something that maybe is down the road as zoning requirements are being considered. We certainly have requirements like that in parking lots and things of that nature, how many looms or whatever you can have there, and how that, with regards to the brightness and what directions it's showing, and or that it's shining its light on. So maybe something to consider down the road. So, but any other questions for staff?
None.
Okay. I'd certainly entertain a motion.
This is Darren. I'll make a motion to approve the variance for the 45-foot freestanding sign as presented.
This is Gary. I'll second it.
If you would call for a vote, please.
Sure. Ms. Brand,
Yes.
Mr. Palmgren,
Yes.
Mr. Shab,
Yes.
Mr. Penn,
Yes.
Mr. Sampson,
Yes.
Mr. Blakeney,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes. Variation is approved.
Thank you very much for your approval.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, I have now lost my agenda.
Well, I'll pull it up on the screen.
Thank you.
There it is.
Oh, how could I forget? We have an election of chairperson and vice chair. Apparently that was carried over from last meeting. So
Yes, for your benefit, as I understand, I was also absent.
okay. I guess I'll just ask questions. Do we have anyone with a burning desire to be chairperson? Perhaps you can do this better than I am in terms of, I struggle a little bit with when these are Zoom meetings. It feels a little clunky to me, and it's hard to tell who's all present and things of that nature. But I'm happy to continue or happy to participate in any way, shape, or form.
And is Randy willing to continue as vice chair?
Sure.
Man,
We
you
just
just
make
said that
one
with so
motion?
much enthusiasm.
Yes.
There you go.
That's better.
Just make one motion.
I think so.
Go for it, Tony.
All right, I just make one motion that we continue to have Mr. Anderson as the chair and Mr. Schaub as the vice.
This is Keith. I'd second that.
So we need to vote on this.
We do have to vote. It has to be a roll call. So, okay. So, Mr. Blakeney,
Yes.
Ms. Brand,
Yes.
Mr. Penn,
Yes.
Mr. Palmgren,
Yes.
Mr. Sampson,
Yes.
Mr. Shab,
Yes.
Ms. Anderson.
Yes. Well, and I want to thank you also for keeping me on track with some of, especially you, Mr. Schaub. I know you had corrected me with some items here through this meeting, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Any other items for the good of the group before we adjourn?
I do have an item that I've kind of been watching it since I go up and down College Avenue, but the Journey Church has finally taken down their 4x4 posts and electric from their, they had one sign up, I think last Sunday was their last one, and the posts are now gone.
Thank you for that. Okay.
I think, Greg, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think something was filed today for the November zoning board meeting. So we will have a meeting in November. So let me know if you have any conflicts. I think it's the 19th.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Now,
I'll make a motion that we adjourn this month's meeting.
I'll
Second.
second that motion.
parliamentary question here then for me. Do we also take a vote on that, or is it all in favor?
Jason?
That's a vote on that too. Sorry.
Thank you. No. I just want to make sure we're doing it right.
All right. I'll do it. Okay. Mr. Schaub,
Yes.
Mr. Blakeney,
Yes.
Ms. Brand,
Yes.
Mr. Penn,
Yes.
Mr. Palmgren,
Yes.
Mr. Sampson,
Yes.
and And Mr. Anderson.
As much as I would like to hang out with all of you this evening, I'm going to say yes as well.
Excellent.
All right.
Well, thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
We'll
Thank
do
you.
this again.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
See you next
Bye.
month. Okay.